I made a video earlier about why I bought the HFG30 instead of the XA20, saying that this was the same exact camera, which it is, and you save $400 to $500 by not getting the XLR attachment. I sold a kidney and gave some blood and bought the XA20 anyways. In this video, I'm going to compare the XA20 to the XA10. The ring is the same on both of them, but to control the exposures on here on the back, you had a custom function button. Upgrade with the XA20 is now you have this dial here, just like on the HFS 100 and 200, and a custom button there. Also two custom function buttons here, another one back there. So you can dial in the exposure over here, which I find a little more convenient. There's also a switch to go from focus and zoom for the lens ring, whereas the XA10, those functions were built into the menu. On the inside, you had the display and your switching the media buttons. The switching the media on the on-off, the power switch there. And in here, you don't have all the buttons cluttered close to the LCD. They're kind of towards the back here. Another nice feature is this D-pad. This was like on the old HV40, HV20, 30, and 40, where you can control the menu settings physically here without having to touch the screen. And the XA10, you have to touch the screen for everything. The zoom rocker on here, it's tucked underneath, and it's left and right to zoom in and out. Over here, it is a proper zoom rocker that you see on the prosumer cameras. This is a 20 times lens, whereas this was a 10 times lens. The widest angle is a 26 millimeter. That's a 30 millimeter equivalent. With the XA10, your headphone jack and the AV are oddly inside the LCD flip screen. Even more awkward than that, the other ports, besides the mic port is right here, but the other ports, like the USB and the HDMI and the remote, were under here in this little flip thing under the grip. Now the XA20 has all that kind of fixed. There's nothing to plug in here and behind the LCD screen. They're all on the right side of the camcorder. Up on the front, with a plastic flap, you have your headphone mic, HDMI, USB, and remote. Right here on this corner edge, you have the power and the AV. On this EV, if I took off the rubber, because it was always getting in my way, I didn't really like it, didn't really need it. It only extends out that much, and that's about it. I don't know how useful that was. I never really used it, even in bright daylight. The XA20 has a larger EVF that extends longer and articulates. One of the things I miss from the XA10 that isn't on the XA20 is the 64 gigabytes of internal storage. Canon has now done away with all internal storage in the XA20 and the HFG30. Biggest thing for me, beyond the physical parts of the camcorder and the 20 times lens, is the codec, which is MP4. So it shoots at 35 megabits, 60p, 1080 60p, and at 30p and below it has 24 megabits at MP4. And you don't have all that file architecture of the AVC HD that is proving very difficult to edit on Premiere Pro and other non-linear editors if you don't transcode. But now I don't gotta worry about it. MP4. The only thing is, after 25 minutes of shooting 1080, it will split the clips in half. So if you're shooting long form videos, it'll split it. But it blends seamlessly. There's a little audio pop, but that's about it. You can get rid of that in post. The XA10 has been notorious for making noises when you move the camera around because these buttons, they're pretty loose. The XA20 does not have loose buttons here, loose switches. They're on pretty firmly. These two handles are not the same handle, but beyond this red button, this is a much bigger handle. You cannot swap these handles because the length of this handle is longer because of the camcorder is bigger than this handle. This handle's shorter. I tried to swap them earlier and I could not because the length is really long, does not fit. On the XA10, to take out the XLRs, there are these push pins right here. Push ejectors. So here's an XLR cable. I put it in there. Snaps in, locked in tight, and then if I want to take it out, I simply push and it comes out. But with this new connection on the XA20, there's no pushing. In order to take the XLR out, you have to lift this up. To take it out, I have to use my nail. So when you put an XLR cable in, like this, snaps in, you know, just like the XA10, and if you want to take it out, you can't push that in. You have to lift that and pull it, and even then it's pretty tight. And I'm not exaggerating here. Like if you actually had an XA20 and you compared it to the XA10, you would be annoyed just like I am. The XA20 is a very nice upgrade. I'm glad I upgraded it, and I'm glad they made the changes that they did. There are all kinds of changes that was on my wish list and more.